can take that second chair and just place the outside edges of your feet on there at any length from you that you would like to feel that that's comfortable for your hips and your knees. Or if you don't have that second chair, just place your feet on the ground. And the other thing we talked about is that everybody's going to have their own music playing so that mine doesn't interrupt or come in and out of the sound waves that we're sharing here. So have your own music, because right now you're all muted unless you came in later, then you just want to mute yourself. And we'll go ahead and start with one of the main things about yoga is breath and your alignment. So those are two main things. So in order to establish a good flow of breath, we want to have a straight spine. So often, even when we're seated in that chair, and if we're seated on the sofa or anytime, we have to really kind of check in with our posture, because we tend to do a lot of this. We tend to do a lot of shoulders pulling in, belly pulling back. And in some of the asanas we do today, we're actually going to work into that posture, but we're going to work in and out of it so we don't get stuck there. But right now, I would like you all to focus on having a nice aligned spine so that this piece right here, your crown, is reaching up and you can almost feel the lengthening within your cervical spine. And this is seated at any plane, earth plane, chair plane, however you like to do that. And then you can have your legs crossed in Sukhasana, if that's nice and easy for you, or you can have them extended out on your second chair. All right, so let's all, wherever we are, press our sits bones into the chair or ground, press that tailbone down as well. And as we lift up through the crown of the head, this is rising, this part, waist down, is rooting down. We're opening up our hips to whatever level feels comfortable. Go ahead and close your eyes so we can pull away from the visual distractions. That's why a lot of people aren't able to work at home, because they see everything around them that they want to do, right? Or they need to do, or they would rather do than the work that's in front of them. So let's close our eyes now so that we can, instead of thinking about all those visual distractions, come into our own personal space, come into our breath, and find our breath. So Josephine, you're new to us, and when we talk about yoga again, it's that yoga means the bringing together, the yoking together of your mind and your body through your breath. And we can only do that when we're conscious of those breaths, and work to enlarge those breaths, to lengthen them, find depth. Find as much openness in our lower belly when we breathe in. Yes, when you breathe, that belly should expand. And when you exhale, you're pulling that belly back in towards the base of your spine. So let's sit here for a few of our own breaths so we can find our own rhythm. Find the length. Find our own depth. Mine may be longer or shorter than yours. You find what works for you. And today in our yoga practice, we will move with our breath as our guide. Right now, our breath is just working as our guide to help to quiet our mind. Help us to relax our emotional states. Helping to nourish every cell in the body. And as we've been focused on our breath, have we lost sight of our posture? If so, take it back. Rooting down in whatever connection we have to the earth plane or to the chair, and rising up through our neck area, through our head, through the crown of the head. 2 more full, slow breaths at your pace. And then opening up your eyes. And if you've been seated in Sukhasana, let's release a bit into that diamond shape. Some of you may already be there. So my knees are open and my hips are still open. My feet are together as a cobbler's pose, but my feet aren't pulled in as much as I might for a cobbler's pose. And we're going to just do some flowing motions here. So seated in the chair, you're moving back and forth between that second chair, or your feet are on the ground and you're moving back and forth. Sliding your hands along your thighs, knees, and then reaching down towards your feet. Let your head go. That's an exhale. Bring yourself up slowly on an inhale, maybe looking up. And so this is just really easy. Just finding where our spine is right now. Never forcing. Never being in a hurry. Letting your breath lead the depth and the length. Let's just do 2 more of these really meditative little flows. Warming up that lower spine. Warming up the neck as we take it to our chest. Rounding. And as we lift it gently, when we come into a straight spine, and then find your chin parallel to the ground. And again, find everything that's rooted into chair or the floor. And let's take some side stretches here. Take one hand down onto the chair or onto the ground. Let's lift the other one up. Lifting with one side, pushing down with the other, and then bringing yourself over. And let's take a hold here, not of our breath, but of the posture here. The side opening, sometimes called half moon. We can do this standing, we can do it seated, we can do it when we get up in the morning, sitting up in our beds, stretching. We can do it seated on the toilet. Here we go. Let's stretch here, lengthen. Find depth on an exhale. Push down with the hand that's grounded. Lift with the other one. Lengthen and release that hand slowly down. Just take note of the difference in the sides of your body right now. One is warm and tingling. The other is wanting that same feeling. So lift the opposite arm up, really stretching here, making yourself long. Push down with the other hand and come on over. And you can keep your gaze just straight. You can look up a bit into that bicep of that arm that's coming over. If you like, you can take a look down to the hand grounded on the chair or the floor. But feel the opening from the waist, the hip, all the way through the fingers of that extended hand. Breathe in length here. Big inhale. Take it down on an exhale. Pull in at your navel. Push down. Rise up. Exhale. Take that hand slowly down. Feel what's going on in the sides of your body. We're going to repeat that in a second, but let's work with shoulders first. Pull the shoulders forward, up on an inhale, back and down. Exhale. And lifting. Exhale. Take it back and down. All this movement of stagnant energy that we build from not moving. And any and all of these can be done without me in front of you, reminding you to do it. Just need to remind yourself. It's in the opposite way. Pull back, lift up, inhale, and come forward. And then exhale. One more round. Squeezing and releasing. Placing one hand down, lift with length the other side. Inhale. Take it on over. Hold for 2 full breaths. Finding your more length here and your depth. Push down, rise up. And release. And down. Opposite hand rises up. Lifting, lengthening, push down and come over. Pulling back on that upper shoulder, really opening up our fingers wide will also intensify what energy we're receiving in that lengthening arm. Big inhale, big exhale. Pull in at the navel, rise up. Exhale down. This time on the shoulders, lift up to your earlobe, squeeze. Inhale, exhale, release. Let it go. Inhale, bring it up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And on your exhale, hold down. Feel that through your clavicle. 2 more times. Lift, hold, and push it out. 1 more time. Lifting up. Squeeze. And let it go. Release. Good. So our shoulders are nice and warm. The sides of our body are nice and warm. Whether you have a chair or you're seated on the ground, you want to extend one leg long so that you might be pushing that second chair away from you, or you have that leg lengthened on the ground. The other one's going to come in a little bit closer. If you're seated on the chair, maybe it's at your calf. If you're seated around here, maybe you come up to your knee joint, or maybe you come up to the side. Find where your happy hip is today and let it stay happy by not going into any place that isn't right for it, okay? So we have one leg extended, right? On the ground, on the chair, doesn't matter. Pull your toes back in a flexed position. Heel pushes forward. We're going to slide that same hand down that leg, and we're going to just go to the point that's right for us. So that might be anywhere on that leg. Maybe you're at your foot. Please remember that all our bodies are different. All of our practices are different. And wherever you are, let yourself begin to come down at an angle. All right, so we're not facing chest to thigh. We're at an angle here, opening up in kind of a little twist. So again, either on the chair, with leg extended on that second chair, or on the ground, and pressing in to the inside of that other leg. We're going to pull back on that shoulder, and we're going to come into a twist. Feel that all the way through that lower abdominal area. And breathe here in this twist. It may be a high twist way up here, might be a lower twist. Find where yours is, that's what counts. Pull in strongly at your navel point and slowly come out of the twist so that your chest is towards your thigh and your knee. Take your other hand to meet the opposite hand on the opposite side of that leg. Find your length here. Now chest forward towards that thigh or shin. And again, we're just taking our own length in our back. We're opening up that hip on the opposite side as much as is needed, wanted, and good for you. And then you're going to start to melt into that extended leg. Maybe we only melt a bit. Maybe we melt a lot more. Depends on where our bodies are. No judgment, just observing and being true to ourselves, being authentic, letting ego go, no comparisons. When you get to the place it feels like that's just right for the back of your leg, that's just right for the back of your spine, then let your head go. Let your chin come towards your chest, and maybe your forehead comes towards your knee. And you breathe here, and I know it's not comfortable to breathe here. We're in a really constricted place. But having your chin at your chest, trying to breathe, you're squeezing in on that thyroid gland, which is really healthful and healing for you. 2 more big breaths here. Pull in at the navel. Slowly walk yourself out of that, whether you were extended leg on the chair or leg on the ground. We're going to come up slowly because we had our head lower than our heart, so we want to make sure we don't come up and get all woozy doozy. And then we're going to exchange legs. So extend the opposite leg out and bring the one that was extended in, again, to the place that feels right for you, on the chair or ankle down from your seated position or seated on the ground. Find where you're going to be here. And like on the ground, I'm just readjusting my sits bones as I extend that leg out. And I'm pulling back on my toes and I'm pushing out through that heel. You should feel that. If you don't do anything else, you're going to feel that in the back of your hamstring and in the back of your calf there. So that's really the main idea of what we're doing here. Then we're going to add that twist. So slide your hand, same hand as extended leg, out on that leg, maybe to the foot, maybe just to the shin. Find where your hand can take a little grab. And then the other hand gets placed on the opposite side. And we begin to move at an angle now outward where that top shoulder starts to pull back and that lower shoulder pulls in. And I'm feeling that all the way through that lower abdominal area that Rose was asking us to pay attention to. We're also going to do some ab work today, and we can do that seated on the chair or on the ground. So here we are, taking a few breaths here, feeling that it's a little more difficult to fill our lower belly with this twist, but you can still do it. One more big deep breath here, please. See if that twist opens a little bit more. Taking that gaze where you like, and then slowly beginning to release from that so that your torso now is facing that extended leg. And we're going to take a walk down that leg now. So walk forward, find wherever it is that's right for you. You're feeling that in your lower spine. We've moved out of the twist into more of a forward fold here. So keeping yourself with a flat spine as long as possible. And then when you are ready, you can go ahead and take your chin towards your chest and let your forehead come towards your knee. Again, this can all be done just as I am on the ground, or it can be done with your leg extended, heel on the ground from the chair or heel on top of that second chair. And we're breathing here. Difficult, confined breathing, but we can still breathe. And we're squeezing in and we're letting that heavy head go. Let it go. Open up the back side of that neck. And then we're going to begin to slowly Walk up from that, letting our head come up last. Letting ourselves find stability here, straight spine. And then extend the leg that's in out. So both are out now. We haven't been here yet with straight legs, both of them. Take your hands behind you on the chair or right here where we are, and just try to lift your seat off the ground or off the chair. And that's using some of your upper body strength here. And depending on our weight, right, we may lift just a bit, we may not lift at all. If you don't lift at all and you're pushing in, you're still increasing the strength in your arms more in an isometric way. And then bringing yourselves down, make sure your sits bones are firmly planted. And let's point the toes. And let's just open the feet a bit here, either on the ground or on that second chair. And let's take some ankle rotations. Going around in one direction. And then reversing and going in the opposite direction. And feeling what that does to the back side of your calves as you're doing that. And then coming to stillness, and then let's just shake out our knees a bit here. And we're going to work on that lower abdomen. So those of you that are on the ground, you're going to come into a position of lay down with your back flat. If you're seated in a chair, go ahead and just keep a nice straight spine. And we will be utilizing our second chair, or you can place your feet on the ground. That might be better if you're in the chair. Knees are bent. So if you're seated in the chair, you're kind of in a mountain pose right now. For us in the ground, we're in a pose that looks like we'd be ready to do some bridge poses. But instead, we're going to cross one leg over the other. So seated in the chair, you want to do that as well. And then we're going to raise up on the ball of the standing foot. So you're going to feel that in your calf. And I'm going to take my hands, fingers on the outside of my head, on the right by my ears there. And I'm going to lift my shoulders away from the back of the chair, or I'm going to lift them up from the ground. Okay, so you're going to pull in a bit. Then you're going to lift your foot off the ground, whether you're seated or you are laying down. You're going to try to get those knees in as close as you can towards your chest. So if you are seated, you can be doing this as well. Here we are on the ground, pulling in those knees, lifting maybe a little bit more from the back side. Lift, squeeze a little bit more here. Bring ourselves chin to chest more, trying to find if we can get our forehead closer to that knee. Release your hands, take them around your shins, and see if you can squeeze up a little bit more. Squeezing in, rounding your shoulders, trying to bring forehead or nose closer to your knee. Keeping the knees as close as you can. Release your hand back to the side of your head. Feel that right in your bellies there. Slowly take your back to the back of the chair or to the ground, and let the foot come down to the ground. Release your hands, release that crossed leg, and reverse. Opposite leg crosses over. Fingers come back to the side of your head. We're not underneath, we're not tugging for the neck. We want to keep the neck nice and long as we're doing this, okay? And then we're going to go ahead, come into the ball of that foot that's grounded now. It's the opposite foot that's grounded. And we're going to lift shoulders off the ground, lift foot off the ground, trying to bring in our bodies, torsos close to our knee here. Flex feet, feel that firming there. And keep breathing. Keep seeing how close you can bring forehead and knee. Are you feeling this? Hopefully, yes. Release hands, interlace. Bring those knees in a little bit more. Again, seated in the chair, you're working with the same kind of feeling here. Doing what you can for your bodies. Pull in a little bit more, roll up a little bit more from your spine, away from the back of the chair, away from the earth. Trying to keep our knees in, release hands back to the side of your head, elbows out. Take 2 breaths. Slowly come down. I hope you're feeling that, because I certainly am. And then leg down. Uncross your legs. And we're going to come on up now. So for us laying on the ground, cross your ankles, hold on right underneath your legs. Those in the chair, just come to be seated there at the edge of your chair. And let's roll up a couple times here. This takes strength in your abdomen as well. And then bringing ourselves up, let's come on to hands and knees. If you're in the chair, you don't need to do that because we're simply going to cat and cow. So cat and cow seated in the chair, you're going to take your hands on your knees and you are going to release your belly down or forward if you're sitting in the chair. And then you're going to bring your belly in, curl and tuck and round. So if you're seated in the chair, hold onto your knees as you curl into yourself, chin to chest. And reach belly down, seated in the chair, your hands slide down your shins, you open up, and then bring yourself back. Curl and tuck and round here. A few more times before we get to a standing position. Now, and then exhale, but moving with your own breath. Let it be constantly your guide, your North Star. Two more sets, really finding that depth, the curling, the tucking, the rounding. This is so beneficial for your spine. Can be done seated, can be done hands and knees, can be done standing. Coming back to neutral spine, seated in mountain or in our tabletop. Those seated in the chair, start to take some circles with your torso. Those of us here are going to take circles with our hips, coming back and forward. Exhale back, inhale forward. Seated on the chair, you're doing this far away from the back of the chair, and you are just moving around, circling your waist and your torso. So this is really good, you guys, for our waistline as well as our hips for those that are on the ground. Let's reverse that, going in the opposite way. Let your hips, it's like they're a big spatula and they're scooping out all of the brownie mix from the bowl, because we don't want to leave any of that behind unless we're the ones that want to lick the bowl, and we want as much as possible. And one more round. and then coming back up. And those of us that are on our hands and knees, we're going to go ahead and take our feet and plant them down and find ourselves in a forward fold. You're seated in a chair, you're going to forward fold as well. You're going to take and let your body, your torso come over your thighs, and you're going to release your head down. Very easy to do this, seated as well as standing. Forward fold means we're opening up the lower spine. It means we are in inversion. Our head is lower than our heart, and we are letting our blood flow to our brain to give us some nice, powerful, nourishing oxygen there. Let your head go too. Really release it. This is where we find that maybe we're holding on to something we don't need to hold on to. And that's our next right now, so let them go. Then begin pushing in with your feet if you're standing or seated, and raise up in ragdoll status so that you leave your spine really curled until you're able to rise up if you're standing. If not, you're just lifting up your torso from your seated position. And we're standing in mountain. So you're either seated in mountain now or standing in mountain. And we're going to do some standing. Those of you that are seated might want to go ahead and stand up with us for a while and have that chair with you, or you can stay seated and also do these as well. I keep getting these messages in because I forgot to turn off my phone. So sorry, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and take a stand, mountain or sit in mountain. And if you're seated, remember we're aligning up our knees and our ankles. We're standing, we're lining up all the way up through hips, through the core, through our chest, shoulders. Let everything come down, away from our ears, shoulders away from the ears, hands come out in an expressive way. Here we breathe. Here we're going to do some Garasana or eagle pose, and we're only going to use our arms right now. So you can still continue doing this standing, or you can sit with it. We're going to rise up with our arms. Inhale. We're going to exhale. Take your right arm under your left, or in this X here. Taking hands here, or we're bringing them in and crisscrossing them as such. And we're going to raise up with a nice inhale. And we're going to take the elbows around and down as low as we can, over to one side as much as we can, making 3 circles in one direction, using breath. Inhale, lift. And 3 or 4 in the opposite way. Exhale as I pull down. And then finding kind of a neutral center place here. And if you remember yesterday in the chair, we pulled these elbows towards that opposite hip. We're going to do that as well. You can take it with straight knees, or you can do a little bend in your knee. Okay, you guys decide. So here I am, inhale, and then exhale. I'm taking them back towards one hip. And I can bend, or I don't have to. Okay, you pay attention to where your knees are. Inhale, bring those elbows back towards, and a little bit of a twist towards the opposite hip. Inhale, rise, and bring it on back. This can be done seated in the chair, as we did yesterday. This I felt in my waist today. It was this kind of repetitive motion of twisting that I was waking up to today. Let's do one more set. Straight or bent legs. And then rising on up. And exhale, release out of that bind. Before we do the other side, let's take and do some wrist rotations in one direction, moving all the way up. Again, you could be seated in your chair doing this, taking those hands up. And reverse the direction. Come on down. Feel that all the way in through your pectoral muscles here and the shoulders. And take those hands down, and then wrists can come to rest. And let's do the opposite side. So we're going to come on up, inhale. And then exhale, this time left under right. I'm trying to not to use a lot of left and right, but on this it helps just because of clarity for myself, I guess, more than anything. And so this time, let's go ahead, inhale, lift. Exhale, come into a little bend, just come down. Inhale, lift. That becomes too much, just come to here. Exhale, come to a little bend as you pull down. Inhale up, exhale. If you're seated in the chair, you're just moving your elbows up and down. 2 more times. Bringing yourself all the way up here. And take the exhale with bent knees or straight, bringing those elbows back towards the hips. Take it into a twist. And using breath. Exhale. So we come in towards our hips. One more set. Raising hands, arms up high, and exhale, release. Bring your arms up. Exhale down, stand in mountain pose, and just feel that energy that's been created in our arms through those binds that we've been taking. We're going to move in and out of goddess pose and chair pose. So you may take a chair for this, or you can do it standing. It's a little bit rigorous. So if you're in the chair, you're just going to raise your arms up here. If we're standing, we're going to raise our arms up and bend into our knees, into our fake little chair here. Okay? So either way, this is chair. And then I'm going to inhale, lift up. And again, if you're in the chair, you're just keeping your legs where they are. And then we're moving into goddess. So in the chair or standing, I'm going to take one leg out. I'm going to widen my stance, and I'm going to come into goddess pose. Here I am. Okay? Knees are open, hips are open, done in the chair or standing. If I'm standing, I'm going to lift up here, bring that foot back into upward salute, and then exhale back into chair. Inhale, I rise up. Exhale, take that other leg out and come into goddess here. So this is your inhale. Bring yourself in to upward salute. Exhale, chair. Inhale up. Exhale, goddess to one side. Inhale, lift to center, upward salute. Exhale, chair. Inhale up. Exhale, over. Keep going. I'm going to show what that looks like in the chair. Those of you that are in the chair. The rest of you keep going. See how strong your legs are today. So inhale, chair. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale into goddess. Inhale. Upward salute. And chair. And exhale. Goddess. Keep on going, whether you're in the chair or you're standing. We're working on opening up those hips. and lengthening and strengthening those legs. Let's do one more set wherever you are. And bringing ourselves back. Let's let hands come down and stand in mountain pose. We're going to do rocking chair here. So rocking chair can be done seated in your chair. Just move to the edge of your chair. If you're standing, continue facing the same direction. I'm just going to go in this direction so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So my hands come up, inhale, and then I exhale, bend in the knees, hands come back. Maybe your head comes down a bit. See how that feels. I don't want you to come and do that and then have a little head rush. Okay, so you don't want to have a head rush. You think you might keep your head from lowering. You'll just take it and keep your back flat. Okay, and inhale. When you do, let your heart open. Exhale, take it on down. Flat spine, or you can round. Inhale. Exhale. Really nice flow here, really good to open up through that heart center, through the whole central core of your body. Let's do that 2 more times, 2 more cycles. Exhaling as we go down. Inhaling as we come up. Rising up here into upward salute. Exhale, hands down. Coming into mountain pose here. We're going to do a little bit of side opening as we did earlier when we were on the ground. This time we're going to add a little bit and take a few twists as well. Take your hands up. If you guys can see, I'm going to attach my one hand around the wrist of the other. Okay, so hold on to one wrist and take your body over. You may find that this is a little more accentuated than what we did when we were grounded. See if you can keep your hips forward, but pull back on that upper shoulder a bit and let yourself come on down. Breathing here. Bring yourself up on an inhale. Take yourself to the opposite side now. We haven't switched the grip yet. We'll do that next. Push down with both feet into the ground. Really open up that side body. Let your head maybe rest on your bicep there. Adds a little weight here. About 10 pounds. And pull in at your navel, lift up. And exhale, push through your fingers long and strong. Let your hands come down. Standing or seated in mountain pose. Can do this as easy in the chair as you can standing. And then rise up, inhale. Grab onto the opposite wrist, okay, and push through your hand that's extended up towards the ceiling. And let's come on over. And again, only finding that edge that is just nice for you. It's the perfect place for you to feel that opening in the side body. So we want to open the body in all directions. I don't know if you notice, but we always will do twists. We always will do some form of cat and cow. And we always will do some of these side bends. We'll do forward folds and we'll do heart openings. Pull up, please. And let's go to the other side. And that's what you guys can build into your day too. Just think of ways that you can find a twist and lengthening all sides of your spine. Left and right, forward and back, always being safe as you do it. Some flow with your flexibility in your spine with either cat and cow or bridge pose. Bring yourself up, inhale. And exhale, release your hands. Find them warm and tingling. And if you're standing, just take a little cha-cha with your knees. So make sure that we're not hyperextending, anything like that. And then coming to stillness, let's take a couple breaths here. We're going to do standing camel pose. So taking our hands flat, you want to place them right here. If you're seated, come to the edge of your chair. Put your hands here so that your elbow points don't interfere with the back of your chair there. Pull back on shoulders. Let the heart already start to open. This may be it for you, or you may want to try to start extending hips out, lifting the heart up, letting your gaze come up only as far as that is just right for your neck. Have control of your neck. Use the muscles in your neck. Don't just let it flop back, okay, like a baby that has no control of their neck. Be cautious and be controlling. Be safe always with all of our body, but especially our fragile little necks. And then push down through your feet, whether you're seated or standing, and rise up. Big opening for the front of the body. Release your hands. Pedal out your knees. Now we're going to take and interlace at the base of the spine right here. And I'm going to turn myself this way for this one, and you can stay facing the same direction. Push down, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Already feel that heart opening here. And then staying right here is great. Same thing, you can do this seated on the chair. We've done it many times that way. And then go ahead, if you'd like, to begin in that heart opening experience here. Letting yourself open up, squeezing shoulders together, maintaining integrity in your neck area. Breathing still. Push through your feet as you begin to slowly lift up from there. And releasing hands. Should feel like this powerful wave of released energy that's flowing all the way through the center cavity of our bodies and up through our head and out. Now let's do a little bit of twisting here. Can be done seated or standing. Arms come out, straight out from shoulders. If you're standing, you can bend into your knees here. If you're seated, you already have your bent knees. Then take your hands into prayer position here. And let's begin to twist over, keeping hands right here, my thumb right at my sternum. And I'm going to continue looking behind me. Press my hands together. Maybe lower more if I want to into more of a chair pose. That really depends on what you want to add today. Really taking that twist over. If I'm lowered into a chair, I can go into that twist where I assist with my knee, but only do that if that's where you want to go. Otherwise, we're just twisting our body in one direction. And we're breathing. And we're doing it safely and slowly, coming out with a good strong core, pushing through feet. Let's lift up, hands come back and out, and let them come down into mountain. Take 2 breaths before we go to the other side. This is a twist where we're spending a little bit of time in that twist, holding it just a bit. Okay, wish I would have turned off my little message things. All right, let's do that again. Lifting up, push out with fingers. Maybe bend into knees a little bit, taking hands right here into the center. Begin that twist. Push your fingers together. Push your palms together. Looking over your shoulder. Doing this seated in the chair or standing. If you're standing and you want to begin to lower into your knees a bit, working on your quadricep strength. You can do that into chair pose with this twist and adding that elbow to one of your knees if you like, just to assist in the twist. Not necessary, you can be at any height you'd like to be. Pushing through your hands isometrically, keep twisting and looking. And of course, breathing. And breathe yourself out of it, slowly bringing yourself back, pushing down, raise arms all the way up. And exhale, take your hands down. So now we're going to work on some balancing. And this is where the chair is really helpful to have. And if you're seated in the chair, you may want to go ahead and stand up and utilize the chair with us, or you can watch what we're doing as well, or just repeat some of the things we've been doing. So we're going to be working on strengthening one standing leg and working into balance as well. So go ahead and leave one foot grounded. Bring your body weight forward, pushing down on that chair, not bringing it back towards you, okay? Push down. And then lift one leg up behind you. Toes are down. And then take your torso down. Maybe your chest comes to touch the seat of the chair. Your toes are down. You can take your hands, place them on the seated part of the chair, if you'd like, and strengthening here on one leg. Bend into that standing knee and place the other foot down. Walk out your knees just a bit here. Take weight onto the opposite foot, and the other foot comes back, toes down, trying to maintain that hip downward position. Lifting up 1 inch, 2 inches, or about your hip height if your body allows that. Keep that hip moving downward. Keep hands pressing down or place them over onto the seat, and you'll have plenty of support there. And just find that strengthening and the lengthening of both of your legs there. And if you had your hands on the lower part of the chair, bring them up, bend into the standing leg, place the other foot down, walk out your knees, walk out your feet, legs. And then taking one side of the chair and holding on there. We're going to work into tree pose. You can also do tree pose seated in the chair. If you're seated in the chair, you're going to take one foot to the side of your inner leg. Don't want to press in deeply here at the knee joint though, okay? So you have to bypass that up or below, seated or standing. Okay, and this is here for you, the chair, in case you like that. So the opposite leg is out, hip open, knee open, and I take that foot to wherever feels right for my body, my comfort level, my experience level, my body, where it is today. And I find where I'm going to be able to stand like a strong tree, or I'm seated like a strong tree. My hand can stay here. This is where I balance. The other hand can come here. So you're either here, or maybe you're here, or maybe your foot, your toe is still grounded, all right? Find any of those positions. Find where your balance is. Maybe playing with lifting that foot off the ground. If you're seated in the chair, you're taking yourself to the edge of your chair, hands here, and one hip open, okay? One knee open. Find where you guys are here, okay? And if one hand is here, maybe you want to extend the other one out. If you can, you have the balance, you extend both hands out. really continue to work where you are, okay? Where your tree is. Think of all the thousands of species of trees there are out there, and you and I are just one of them, okay? And then release. Walk out your knees, whether you're seated or standing. And let's take the chair on the other side for that stability. Or you have a wall, or you have something. Or you've been well practiced at this and maybe you don't need that. Please figure that out for your personal needs. And then take the opposite leg outside and open it up. Find your placement on the ground. Maybe you're just playing with lifting that up in one hand here. Okay. And then maybe you hold it and you see, can I take my hand away here little by little? Maybe I can place it here or here, just not in that knee. Maybe I have help, I bring it here. Maybe it comes up, right? I want to show you all of the varieties so that you know where you might want to find yourself. So find yourself in that peaceful tree, breathing, knowing that the floor is right there, knowing that the chair is right there. We're not fallen trees, we're standing trees. Although there's a really couple cool poses called fallen tree, which we can do sometime. You can extend your hands or arms out, finding any type of branch location that you would like. And then coming to terms and ending with our hand at heart, place foot down, walk it out. And then we're going to come to Sukhasana, seated on the ground, or you can take your chair if you have it. I'm going to use the chair at the end, and I'm going to find my Sukhasana on the chair. If you are not wanting to go into Sukhasana here, just cross your feet, or you can come back into a mountain pose. Whatever you feel you guys want your body to do and have for our last few moments together. As we sit, as we found our bodies at the beginning, with those straight spines, crown reaching up, cervical spine nice and long, shoulders pulling down and away. If I'm in Sukhasana, easy pose, and my hips are also finding an ease of opening there. Or I'm seated in mountain, close my eyes and come inside myself again, finding a couple few slow, deep breaths. Remembering to take the love from myself, with myself, through every breath today. Being very grateful for having spent time with your body, your mind, your emotions, your breath for this last hour, and taking some of these moves into the rest of your day. I honor the place in you where the universe dwells. I honor that place in you where there is love, light, peace, and joy. For when you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one. We are connected from my heart to yours.